Hi, my name is Russell Laggan with Carrington Real Estate Services, and today I'm going to talk about communication. I've got 17 points to make about how to communicate in this world and communicate better. And I'm going to start off with number one right here at the top. First things first, is you got to have the right mindset. A lot of people get into communication, and I hear this quite a bit in the real estate industry, and they start talking about communication and how they're communicating, and they're like, I just know every time I talk to them, I'm going to get my butt kicked. I just know every time I talk to the seller, I get my butt. So if you go into the conversation thinking you're going to get your butt kicked, you're going to get your butt kicked. If you think you're going in for a fight, you're going to go in for a fight. So if I walk into a bar tonight and think I'm getting in a fight tonight, I'm probably going to get in a fight tonight, there's a darn good chance I'm going to get in a fight tonight. Now, good news is I'm not a fighter. I'm much more of a lover type of guy myself. So I'm not going to go do that tonight. But it's the same type of mentality that goes with it in communication. You have to expect to have good communication. You have to expect good results. You have to expect good answers. You have to expect good engagement. You have to expect the communication to be good. And when you do that, your communication is going to be a lot better. Think about this too in your relationships with your husband, with your wife, with your kids, with your friends, brothers, sisters. If you expect better communication and expect good stuff and expect connections, there's a really good chance that your communication is going to be a lot better. So mindset-wise, we want to expect great stuff when we're communicating, and we're much more likely to get that back because we put it in our tone, we put it in the way we say things, we put it in our reaction to things, and it changes the way our communication works. So number one is mindset. Number two, communication is way more than just words. Way more than just words. So I've used this example. I did this at a big meeting. We had our boot camp meeting with our new office leaders. Where we're teaching them stuff about recruiting and doing things and growing their business. And one of the things I said is like, so it's more than just words. So here's a perfect example. 3 simple words. How you doing? I could be anywhere in town and walk up to somebody and say, how you doing? And they're going to say, I'm doing fine. How you doing? That's just the words themselves, and the way I said them conveys something, right? Same exact words used differently. Here's a different way to use it. How you doing? How you doing? You look at somebody and say it like that, you're going to get a completely different reaction than if you just say, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? So it's really important the way you say things and what you're conveying behind that completely changes the message. It's also the same way when you're having a conversation about a good deal, a bad deal, good news, bad news. The information you convey and the words you say and how you say them is extremely important. So a lot of times you can say something to somebody like, I know this isn't a big deal, but, oh, sure, now what's coming, right? So you gotta make sure the tone that you use and the way you use the words help reinforce the result that you want. I know we've got a solution for this already lined up, so let me explain to you what happened. Completely different way to converse about words and to put an idea in somebody's head. If I start off with, you're not gonna like this, God, it's a completely different game because you're carrying a completely different tone. So the words we choose are important, but also the tone we use is important. Hey, I've got something that came up that we've already built a couple solutions for, so let me tell you what's going on. Completely different tone in the way you're conveying the words than, man, we got this guy's a jerk and blah, blah, blah. So it's important that we use the right words and also use the right tone when we're communicating. You guys all know that one, right? But it's important. Number 3, throw a curveball in here. Video. Stop using email all the time. People ask questions, people go response to answers. Man, I will tell you all the time now, I pick up my cell phone, I put the selfie thing on, put it on video mode, and I'll respond with a video answer. See, part of communication is giving you the ability to stick out like a sore thumb, to communicate in a way that's different, that's memorable, makes you stick, right? Part of the reason why I created this video is because I want to make sure I convey this information differently than if it was in a white paper, if it was in a blog, it was in a one more thing on Facebook, one more thing in an email. But video makes it a little more compelling and we're able to communicate differently. So when somebody asks you a text question, send them a video response. When somebody sends you an email, send them a video response because it's really easy to lose everything in email. We email and email and email and email and email. What makes you stand out? You're just like everybody else and just like every other 200 emails that I got today. But when I see the little video pop up, I'm like, oh, this will be interesting. And it gets my attention every single time. And I can convey more than words. I can convey tone, passion, enthusiasm, which we'll talk about in a minute, right? Number 4, mirror. You want to mirror and mimic the people that you're talking to. So if you're talking to somebody that talks fast-paced, Northeast style, going full bore, full throttle, talk full bore, full throttle. I have a real hard time slowing down. But when I go into my Atlanta office, I talk to my people in the Atlanta office a little bit slower, a little bit calmer, a little more reserved, a little more respectful. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I do that quite a bit anyway, but it's a different way of talking. So you need to mirror them. If you've got somebody that's calm and reserved, you're calm and reserved. If you've got somebody that's excited and enthusiastic, you're excited and enthusiastic. If they're talking fast, you're talking fast. If they're talking slow, you talk slow. And what you'll find is that people will say, boy, I really like that guy. And the reason they feel that is because they feel connected to you because you are like them. See, if they're seeing themselves in you, mirroring, the way you fold your arms, the way you hold your hands, standing on your hips, eyebrows up, excited, not excited, smiling, not smiling, they feel a sense of similarity. They feel like they're looking at themselves. They feel connection to you. So always mirror people when you get the opportunity. The goal is to get face-to-face with people. A lot of communication that we have when we start talking about leads and lead generation and new clients and getting new clients in and getting them around you is to get them face-to-face. The goal isn't to give them every piece of information that you have over email or over the phone. Ideally, the best thing you could do is get them face-to-face. You may say, well, gee, Russ, how am I going to get them face-to-face if they're in New York and I'm sitting in Miami? Well, get them on video, get them on Skype, get them on FaceTime. See, if somebody's willing to talk and communicate with you face-to-face via video, Skype, computer, Google Groups, you could do all kinds of stuff on Google for free with up to 10 people on it. You get face-to-face, it completely changes the conversation. Communication then adds the hand signals and the eyebrows up and down and the funny things and the smile, and it conveys a ton more. So when in doubt, always try to go face-to-face. If you've got good news for somebody, get face-to-face with them. If you've got bad news for somebody, get face-to-face with them. You will find, I've got this term that I used years and years and years ago. It's called telephone tough guy. I can't tell you, being a manager, leader, now vice president with Carrington, running the whole Southeast region, when I get somebody on the phone, it's amazing how tough people will act on the phone. But if I tell them, hey, by the way, I'm going to be in town next week, why don't we sit down and talk face-to-face? When I meet them face-to-face, the person that was a complete jerk on the phone becomes way nicer when you're face-to-face. I call it the telephone tough guy, because when they don't have that other stuff, they can really sound off when they're on a telephone. So get them face-to-face whenever possible, for good stuff or bad stuff, right? Number 6, have a plan with a solution. So when you call somebody and trying to communicate something, have a plan. What are you trying to get at? Are you trying to get them to buy in? Are you trying to get them to agree? Are you trying to just give them information? Are you trying to get them to respond? Are you trying to get them to connect? Are you trying to get them to reach out? What is the goal of the communication? Once you clearly define what the goal of the communication is, and this can happen instantaneously in your head. It's like, got an email, it's like, the goal is I want them to agree with me. A completely different conversation than the goal is just to give them the facts. How many people have owned this house before? 6. Well, let me tell you a little bit about them, right? So the goal is to have some type of plan before you go in, and always talk about solutions. Have solutions ready. We're going to define the problem very, very quickly, usually 10, 15, 20% of the conversation, and then talk the rest of the time about solutions. I will tell you the reason I have the position I have today, I truly believe, is because I'm a solution-oriented guy. I'm not going to sit around talking about the problems, because if you sit around talking about the problems, you're just going to get more problems. I'm a solutions guy. I sit around and talk about solutions. People will pay a ton of money to somebody to help them with solutions. So your job in communicating is to communicate solutions, not create more problems, not start more fights, help come up with solutions. So when you communicate, before you can communicate something bad, always make sure you have multiple solutions that are possibilities. And we could potentially do A, B, or C. Here's the issue we have, and a couple of solution potentials are A, B, and C. Which one do you think will work best for you? Completely different conversation than, you're not going to believe what the home inspector found. You're not going to believe what this guy did. You're not going to believe what the mortgage guy did. You're not going to believe what my wife did, what the dog did, what the neighbor did, all of that. We don't, it's just like, hey, here's what happened. Here's the solution. So be a solution person. Talk about solutions. Your communication is going to go through the roof. Number 7, finish up with a question. This is the part where you're talking about communication and then you want buy-in, right? So blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that? How do you feel about that? Which way do you think you should go? How do you think that would work for you? Are you with me? Do you want to go down this path? Ask them a question. Give them a direct question. Get a buy-in. So you're going to finish with a buy-in question. So blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts? And it encourages more exchange back and forth. So if you want to open lines of communication, ask for their opinion. Ask them what they're thinking. So what are you thinking? Based on that information, what are you thinking? And then shut up, right? You shut up. Let them answer. And they'll probably tell you what they're thinking, which is fantastic. Great part of communication. Shut up more. Pretty cool, huh? Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared to send. So when you're communicating with people and you're out and about, part of our communication is through emails with customers, with clients. But when you're communicating with people that are not your customer, are not your client, but you'd like them to be, you always want to be prepared with a couple things in your back pocket, right? A couple things in your back pocket. So a couple of things I always have available at my fingertips and something I've had available for years. I don't do it more recently because of my current job role doesn't require it, and it's not as effective in my current job role, but I always had a real estate market update video that I'd done. So every single month, I go through the numbers, what's going on in the real estate market. So when I'm talking to people, I can say, hey, by the way, I got this video on what's going on in the real estate market. I just shot it last week. Let me send it over to you. And then I send it over to them. Now I've been able to deliver value to them. I've got a report from HUD.gov, that is 100 frequently asked questions from first-time home buyers. Wow, that's a good one, right? So if you got somebody that's like, well, I've never been a home buyer before, I'm a first-time home buyer, I'm like, man, I've got this thing that's got 100 commonly asked questions, most commonly asked questions from first-time home buyers. Would you like me to send you a copy of that? Absolutely. So you want to be prepared to always have something in your back pocket to be able to deliver value and give back to people. It gives you a couple things. Number 1, you deliver value. Number 2, gives you another reason to communicate. And number 3, it makes you look like you know what you're doing. The 4th thing is you'll have credibility, because if I say, hey, I'm going to send you this report on Friday I'll say, here's the report I told you I would send on Friday. Now you not only have a connection, but you've delivered value, but you also have credibility. So it's taking communication to the next level at the grocery store, at the, for the Iron Man store, at the bass guitar store, wherever you hit normal shopping stuff and bump into people. When you're at church, when you're at group meetings, always have someone say, hey man, I got this thing. You want me to shoot you a copy of it? Absolutely. Be prepared to have those 1 or 2, 3 things in your back pocket. Build frequently asked questions videos. So one of the things you'll find is that people ask the same questions over and over and over and over and over. So if you build a video library of commonly asked questions, you'll find that a lot of times you'll be like, you know what, I just recorded a video on that last month, last week, last year. Let me shoot that over to you. Then you're not repeating yourself 50 times. Then you can also make a connection there too, deliver value, have another avenue to connect with people instead of having to repeat yourself over and over and over and over. Hey, I shot a video on what it takes to have a smooth transaction as a first-time home buyer. Let me shoot it over to you. Then they think you're a rock star, because it's not just you winging stuff off the cuff. You're prepared. You got stuff in your back pocket. You've got a depth. You've got a video library. You've got an email library. Hey, I wrote this quick paper on that exact topic. Let me shoot it over to you. See, part of communication is enhancing your credibility. It's impossible to enhance your credibility unless you do what? Do things to enhance your credibility, right? So enhancing credibility is about enhancing your credibility. If you build frequently asked questions, can deliver them by a white paper or a blog, or have a video library of commonly asked questions, I mean, man, it gives you the opportunity to show more credibility. You're more than just this face-to-face or just this phone call. When you get a lead, you've got the opportunity to say, hey, by the way, here's 10 things every buyer needs to know before they buy their first house. Let me shoot you over the video. Completely different way to connect, connecting at a deeper level, building credibility, and you got a lot better chance of connecting and getting them to respond back quicker. Number 10, schedule. Schedule your next follow-up. I talk to you, we go blah, blah, blah. I'll deliver this on Friday. I'm going to plug it right into my schedule right now. And I always know when my next communication is. So one of my standards I have when I was working as a real estate agent with buyers and sellers is, if you go to sleep tonight and you don't know what the next step is and where we stand currently, that's a failure on my part to communicate. You should never go to sleep wondering what's the next step, where do we stand, what are we doing, what comes next, and when is that most likely to happen. There's many, many times that I scheduled an appointment just to update them, to tell them I knew nothing. It's like, hey, this is Russ. This is Russ Laggan with Carrington. Just want to touch base with you. It's Thursday. I know, we're 4 days into the week already. I just wanted to let you know I don't know anything yet. I haven't heard anything yet, but I wanted you to know I'm on it. Now they think you're on it. You're a professional. You're digging to the next level. You're doing extra stuff. You're communicating more and more effective. Even when you've got nothing to say, tell them, hey, by the way, just want to touch base with you. Got nothing yet today, but I'm on it. I sent out a reminder yesterday. As soon as I hear something, I'll let you know. I'll probably touch base with you on Monday. Sound good? Have a great weekend. Now people aren't stressed out, waiting and wondering. If they're waiting and wondering, there's a really good chance they're going to be stressed out. And if they're stressed out, they're not going to make good decisions. Frustration goes up, good decision making goes down, right? You just get pissed off, which isn't good for business, right? Number 11, enthusiasm. Duh, right? Enthusiasm. Do you think I got a little bit of enthusiasm? Heck yeah, I do. I'm all wound up. I'm wound up a lot too. I do this, and this is me conveying information with enthusiasm. You could have two people saying the same piece of information, and the one with more enthusiasm, people just want to follow them, right? I want to hang out with people that are enthusiastic. I want to hang out with people that have passion. I want to hang out with people that seem like they're having fun and just get a kick out of what they're doing. I don't want to be around a dead fish. So when you're communicating with people, use some enthusiasm. Fill in the gaps. Be a little more enthusiastic. Be a little bit passionate. Just be a little bit more than you already are. When you're on the phone, be more enthusiastic and passionate. When you're doing video, you got to pump it up just a little bit. Otherwise, you just look like a dead, boring fish. Did any of you ever have that teacher just stood up there like, Come on, who wants that crap, right? Have some enthusiasm, show some passion, and you will find the world shifts to come to you. People want to be around somebody that's enthusiastic. So start building that and developing that. Practice it. It's not that hard. Be a pro. Number 12 is be a pro. What do I mean by be a pro? Everybody has access to information right now. Communication isn't about, hey, by the way, here's info, email info. You want to communicate in multiple forms, in multiple formats, with enthusiasm, and as a professional. Be a professional. See, everybody has access to all the info right now, but they don't have access to interpretations of that info. I can go online and say, man, I got this pain in my chest and my arm's tingling, and I'm like, okay, well, good, you're lining up to have a heart attack. Well, that does nothing for me. I need to go to a doctor and go, what does this mean? What do I do? How do I do it? Here's a bunch of different ways to fix it. You can't self-fix that kind of stuff. That's why I go to a doctor who is a professional to give me professional guidance and professional advice and professional consultation on what I should do with the info. Hey doc, I went in online to meddocexpress.com and it says this chest pain right here and it's tingling in my arms, probably a heart attack coming. What do we do now? That's what you consult a professional for. I know it's a little oversimplistic. Somebody might be rolling their eyes, but that's what I'm talking about, right? Be a professional. I can get info about a house. I can get info about buying. I can get info about selling. But what do I do with it and how do I apply it to me? See, the cool part is there's a ton of great info out there. The bad part is there's a ton of great info out there and people don't know what to do with it, which is a good thing because they got a bunch of info, but they don't know what to do with it, and I do. See, as a professional and an expert, I'm a real estate expert, I'm your real estate consultant. When I shift my mindset to expert consultant role, it changes what I do. I don't give info, I show them how this info should apply to them. Use facts, figures, show them. Don't tell them. A professional will show them what the result is. Show them what the difference between a 3% and a 4% interest rate means to their mortgage over term. Did you know if the interest rate goes up 1% from 3% to 4%, that on a $200,000 house, That'll cost you $43,000 more over the life of a loan. And show them the math, right? I'm not a mortgage guy, but a good professional is going to show them so it makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, that's going to cost you a lot more money. Really? Show me how much. A professional is going to show me and show me where they got the info. That's what professionals do and how they act. My doctor doesn't go, just trust me. He shows me what needs to be done. He shows me success. He'll show me statistics so that I'm like, oh wow, there's a 49% chance I'm dead within 3 years if I don't handle this. Well, okay, I'm in. Okay, got it, right? Professional, expert, consultant. That's the difference in your communication between giving information and being a professional. Communicate like a pro, right? 13, read it, read it, read it, read it, read it, read it. Read all of it is what that should say, all of it. Cannot tell you how many times I send out an email, boom, 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 2, 3, 4 bullet points, and I get one response back to one part of the email. Read the email through, take your time, answer the whole thing, and your communication will be much more effective. It is so frustrating in business to have people send you back a response and then I have to ask the second and third question again. Of course, if they're all on the same topic, they should be in the same email. If they're different topics, send them in different emails and title them differently so you know that you get each individual topic handled individually. Ask 1 or 2, 3 things in an email and make sure you're clear on it. Ask great questions, make sure you read the details and respond to them with the full answer. Cannot tell you how many times customers and clients send me questions, multiple, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions in one email, or a buyer or a seller will send questions, or an agent will send me questions, or an office leader that works under me will send questions, and I have to read the whole thing and try to do this myself. I found myself screwing this up consistently, catching like the first part of it, and I'm just got so many things going on. I was like, respond. And they're like, but what about the other 3 things? I'm like, oh, now they know I didn't read the email. I wasn't paying that close of attention. So be present, read the whole thing, and answer the whole thing. That will enhance your communication. People will think you're a professional if you answer the whole question and all the questions. Tell them where you got the info. That helps too. That's what pros do. Number 14, know your scripts. Know your scripts. There are ways to say things that work better than others. There's a bunch of teachers and gurus out in the market that teach simple ways to say things. If you're having trouble getting consistent responses, getting people on your side, getting them going your direction, there's a really good chance that you need to work on your scripts. What to say it and how to say it can completely change the outcome of the conversation. Like I was showing you earlier, how you doing? How you doing? Okay? A little bit of inflection completely changes the meaning of the words, and knowing your scripts gives you that sense of confidence. So when somebody says, hey, I want to list my house, and will you take 5%? Oh, I can't wait for that. I'm excited because I know how to handle that. When somebody says, I want $400,000 for my house, you just told me it was worth $350, but I want $400. Oh, man, do I have a script for that. Whole nother video. I can't wait for that objection because I know how to handle it. I know how to handle it well, and I know a way that works extremely well. And it works great because I know it inside out. Then I look like an expert and a pro. And usually they go my direction and follow my advice because what I say makes sense. So one of the things that's important, number 15, is keep it simple. I can't tell you how many times I see people with listing appointments and listing presentations, and they show me this stuff and they're talking about their communication, and I'm like, yo, you need to shorten that way down. Make it way more simple. The goal in communication is, how do I make this so simple it can't be interpreted wrong? Have you ever sent an email and somebody sends back a response and you're like, what the heck? What was that response from? Why the heck did they respond like that? Well, there's a really good chance that they didn't understand what you said or didn't understand the way you asked it. It was too confusing. They interpreted it wrong. They took their color and their background and their history and interpreted it wrong. A lot of times, if you keep it really simple, it makes it easier. I've never seen a listing presentation so complicated it had to work. But I've seen a couple that are so simple they gotta work, right? Communication when you're live, when you're presenting information, keep it simple. Draw little pie charts, draw little people. I draw stick figures all the time and stick figure houses all the time. And people's light bulbs pop on. They're like, oh, that really makes sense. Thank you for making that simple. Now I understand. I've never understood that before, but now I do. Making it simple. Okay? Keep it simple. Einstein was awesome at that. The reason Einstein was so popular is because he was able to take really ridiculously complicated things like E equals mc squared. What does that mean? It's basically everything is mass. Everything is mass, which means everything is energy. Mass equals energy squared. It's like everything is energy. And people are like, oh, no kidding. Made it simple, right? Body language. Body language, body language, body language, body language. How you look at people, how you feel with people, how you are around people. Are you sitting there with your arms closed? Are you sitting with your hands on your hips? Are you leaned forward? Are you engaged? Are you sitting back? Are you chilled out? Are you relaxed? Are you not paying attention? Are you looking around? Are you staring at your phone the whole time? This is the body language I see all the time. Go into the airport. You could run through the airport buck naked right now. Most people would never notice it until they heard squealing and screaming and people laughing, or they're recording it with their camera, or they're recording it with their phone. But realistically, most people got their head down, they're not paying attention. And that's body language too, right? It's like, I don't want to talk to you. Stay out of this. I don't want to engage. Body language is important when you're face to face with people because it's a huge part of conversation. Lean in, smile, look at them, look them in the eye, not just when they're talking, but when you're talking too. It's really important to look at people. You know, when you're video recording, look straight at the camera, look right at the lens, and make sure you lean forward a little bit. Be engaged. Then you show a little bit of enthusiasm. It completely changes everything, right? Completely changes everything. Body language. When you're on the phone, body language matters. If I'm laying on the couch or laying on the bed having a conversation, it comes across differently than if I'm standing up and I'm engaged. When I'm having a really powerful conversation with somebody, there's a lot of chance that I'm standing up. Even if I'm just on the phone, I'll stand up and have that conversation because I want everything engaged. I want my core engaged, my energy engaged. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm strong. Strong body language, even on the phone, comes across and projects, right? Communication, important, super important. And then the last but not least, chill out. Just relax a little bit. When you're not relaxed, when you're frustrated, when you're aggravated, when you're desperate, people can smell desperate. So when you're communicating with people and trying to get them to come over to your side to do stuff, relax. Don't be so focused on the outcome that you don't have the ability to just enjoy the moment and chill in the moment, right? If it doesn't happen and the deal doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. Can it suck? Yeah, but it's not the end of the world. What you'll find is if you had 10 sales closing every single month and one of them was falling apart, it's not the end of the world. If you have one deal and it's the only one closing this month and it's falling apart, your whole world is falling apart. But when you start choking that thing to death, people can feel your desperation. But they can also feel it when you're relaxed. And you're like, you know what? I want your business, but I don't need your business. Man, I'm totally chill about this stuff, right? I want you on my team, but I don't need you on my team because I can get 10 other people to be on my team. It's not the end of the world, right? It's a much more relaxed position, much more laid back. I'm not saying don't care. Chill out so much and pretend like you don't care. But what I am saying is stop trying to choke the darn thing. Build a good plan. Have a plan to move forward. Know you did your part and did all this other great stuff. And then just chill out and let it work. Relax. Say for the next 3 months, I'm going to chill out. I'm going to relax. I'm going to see if that changes the way people react to me. Guarantee you, when you're approaching deals, buying and selling, doing any type of communication deal, buying a car, if you're relaxed, people are going to chill. You're buying a house, you're relaxed, people are going to relax. If you're all wound up and excited and frustrated and pissed off and scared the deal's going to fall apart, everybody else is going to be that way too because they pick up on your energy, your vibration. It's just the way people work, right? So remember to chill and relax. There's 17 points on communication expanded out for you guys. There's value being delivered to you guys. My name is Russell Laggan with Carrington Real Estate Services. I appreciate you watching this video. Check out my web channel here on YouTube for more stuff. Every once in a while I pop something out like this and open it up to the public too. Usually this stuff just goes to my team, but sometimes it comes out to you. I hope you have a great day and communicate better.